Hi, friends. Today, I want to talk to you about something very important and something that happens to everyone. No matter if you are a kid or an adult, no matter where you come from, this is something you cannot really avoid in life. I want to talk about fighting with friends. Now, I know that might sound a little odd at first. Because who wants to think about fighting? Friends are supposed to be people you like, people you have fun with. Maybe you laugh together, or you play together, or you talk together during lunch. How could it ever go wrong? But in real life, things can get messy, even between the best of friends. Let's imagine, maybe you were playing at the playground, and you wanted to go down the slide. Your friend wanted to go first, but you thought it was your turn. Maybe both of you started arguing, and before you know it, you both feel hurt. Maybe someone said something mean. Maybe someone turned their back and stomped away. Now, you're not playing together, and you feel miserable. You might wonder, what do I do now? What if we can't be friends anymore? But here's something I want you to remember. Fighting with friends is totally normal. Everyone disagrees. Even the closest family members, even people who love each other very much, sometimes fight. What matters most is how we handle it afterward. So, let's start exploring what you can do when you fight with a friend. One important thing to remember is that there is no single correct answer. Sometimes, people might tell you, do this and things will fix themselves. Or, you might hear, just say sorry and everything will be fine. But friendships are complicated. People are different. Sometimes, it takes more than a simple answer to heal a fight. First, let's think about how fights start. Sometimes, fights are small. Maybe you both grabbed the same book at the library. Maybe you both shouted the answer at the same time. Sometimes, fights start small but end up hurting your feelings in a big way. Sometimes, it might be about something bigger. Maybe a friend let you down, broke a promise, or didn't keep your secret. Maybe someone laughed at you in front of other people, and it made you feel embarrassed or sad. When something like this happens, the first thing people feel is usually hurt or angry. That's normal, too. Your heart might race. Your face might turn red. Sometimes, you might want to cry or scream or run away. Maybe you do cry, or maybe you give your friend a mean look. Maybe you even say something rude, just because you feel so upset. So, what can you do right at that moment? Sometimes, the best thing to do is to take a pause. It's okay to say, I need a break. If your feelings are very strong, it's hard to use kind words, and hard to hear what your friend is really saying. So, maybe you take a little walk. Maybe you count slowly to 10, or maybe you take 3 big, deep breaths. Or maybe, you just stay quiet for a minute and look at something else, like the clouds or the wall or a leaf on the ground. Once you've calmed yourself a little bit, it's easier to think. You can ask yourself, why am I so upset? Sometimes, when you name your feeling, it loses some of its power. You can say to yourself, I feel angry because I thought it was my turn. I feel sad because my friend called me a name. It's okay to feel bad. Everybody does, sometimes. The next thing you can do is try to see things from your friend's side. This can be hard. But it's very important in friendships. You might ask, what was my friend thinking? Maybe your friend didn't know it was your turn. Maybe your friend was upset about something else and took it out on you. Maybe your friend didn't really mean to hurt you, but just got carried away. Sometimes, the fight wasn't even about you, but about something else happening in your friend's life. Now, here's a big question. Should you go talk to your friend? Sometimes, people feel too nervous to talk right away. They worry, what if my friend is still mad? What if we argue again? Sometimes, friendships need some time and space to cool down. It's okay to wait a little while, but not forever. If you wait forever, the distance between you might grow and grow, until it feels impossible to come back together. When you're ready, you can try to talk to your friend calmly. You might say, I was upset about what happened. Or, that made me feel sad. Or even, I want to be friends again. Sometimes, it's good to share your feeling, but you don't have to tell every little detail. You can just say, I miss talking to you. But sometimes, even after you try to talk, things don't go back to normal right away. And sometimes, you might not know what to say at all. If that happens, you can try another way. You can write a note or draw a picture for your friend. You can leave a small gift, like a cool rock or a sticker. Sometimes, actions speak louder than words. Let's imagine again. Maybe you decided to apologize after you fought. Maybe you said, "I'm sorry for yelling," or "I didn't mean to hurt your feelings." But what if your friend doesn't apologize back? What if your friend just shrugs or says nothing? Does that mean your friendship is over? Not always. People apologize in different ways. Some people say sorry right away. Some people show they're sorry by being extra nice to you. Some people get very quiet because they feel bad but don't know how to fix things. Maybe you're thinking, why should I apologize if it was my friend's fault? That's a very real and honest feeling. It feels unfair to say sorry when you're the one who got hurt. But sometimes, saying sorry isn't about winning or losing. Sometimes, it's about letting go of your anger, or opening the door so your friend can walk through it. You can say, "I'm sorry my words were mean," even if you're still upset about what your friend did. Apologizing doesn't always fix everything. But it helps people move closer together, instead of further apart. Now, let's think about another idea. What if the problem is very big? What if your fight went on for days or even weeks? What if you haven't talked in a long time, or you even feel like you don't know your friend anymore? Is it ever too late to fix a friendship? Sometimes, friendships change as people change. Maybe you have different interests now. That's okay. Sometimes, friends drift apart because that's how life works. But sometimes, all it takes to fix things is one brave step. You can make that brave step by simply saying hello. Maybe you could ask your friend, "Do you want to play again?" Or, "Want to talk?" Even if you don't talk about the fight, starting with something fun can bring people together. You might draw together, or kick a soccer ball around, or share a snack. Sometimes, being together again helps people remember why they became friends in the first place. But what if nothing works? What if you tried to apologize, or wrote a note, or gave a gift, but your friend still won't forgive you? That can feel very sad. It's hard when a friend doesn't want to be friends anymore. You might feel lonely, or worried that you'll never find another friend. But remember, you are not alone. Many people have lost a friend before. Sometimes, it's not your fault. Sometimes, friendships end even when you do your best. Life keeps going, and you can find new friends, if you keep your heart open to the possibility. One of the hardest things to learn is that you can't control what your friend does or says. You can only control your own actions. You can choose to be kind. You can choose to say sorry. You can choose to forgive. You can choose to move on. These are all up to you. But what about if your friend forgives you, but you don't really forgive them yet? Maybe you still feel angry inside. Is it okay to feel that way? Yes, it is. Feelings don't always go away quickly. You can tell your friend, "I want to be friends, but I'm still hurt." A real friend will understand that. Forgiveness takes time. You don't have to rush. Maybe you're wondering, should I forgive every friend, all the time, no matter what? Not always. If a friend keeps hurting your feelings again and again, or if a friend makes you feel scared or bad about yourself, it's okay to step back. It's okay to decide that some friendships are not good for you right now. You can still be polite and kind, but you don't have to pretend everything is okay if it isn't. Your feelings and your safety matter. Now, let's flip things around. What if you're the one who made a big mistake? Maybe you laughed at your friend when you shouldn't have. Maybe you told a secret even though you promised not to. Maybe you did something that you know was wrong, and now you feel guilty. What should you do? The first thing is to be honest. It's hard to admit you did something wrong, but it's brave, too. You can say, "I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I wish I hadn't done that." A real apology can go a long way. It helps your friend know that you care about their feelings. It might take time for your friend to forgive you. That's okay. You can give them space. You can keep being kind. Remember, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone messes up. Even adults sometimes say the wrong thing or hurt someone by accident. Learning from your mistakes is part of growing up. Sometimes, when you are fighting with a friend, you might want to tell someone you trust. That could be your mom or dad, or a teacher, or a big brother or sister. Talking about your feelings can help you understand them. Maybe the person you trust can help you think of new ways to solve the fight. But sometimes, The people around you might not give the answer you want. Maybe your mom tells you to say sorry, but you're not ready. Maybe your teacher says to shake hands, but you feel too sad. That's why there isn't just one right way to fix a fight. People are different, and each friendship is special in its own way. You might want to know, how can I stop every fight before it happens? That's a good question. But sadly, fights will happen from time to time. Still, there are some things you can do to have fewer fights. You can practice sharing. You can take turns. You can listen, even when you don't agree. You can be honest, but say things in a kind way. When someone else is talking, you can try to really hear what they're saying, instead of thinking about your next words. You can also look for the good things about your friend, not just focus on the things that bug you. Yet, even with all that practice, people will still fight sometimes. So what's most important is what you do after the fight. Let's talk about something interesting. Did you know that sometimes, fights can make friendships even stronger? How is that possible? Well, when you fight and then make up, you learn more about each other. You learn about what's important to your friend. You learn about what's important to you. You practice forgiving and saying sorry. Sometimes, you laugh about the fight later on. You might even end up closer than before. Here's another idea to think about. Sometimes, people make jokes about fighting, like calling each other names or teasing. But fighting is never a joke when feelings are hurt. It's important to treat each other with kindness, even if you're upset. And sometimes, it helps to learn how to ask for help. You can say, I don't know how to fix this. That's very brave. Did you know that adults can learn a lot from the way children fight and make up? Sometimes, adults get stuck being angry for a long time, or they stop talking to each other. But children, especially young children, can sometimes forgive and go back to playing quickly. This is a special kind of magic that children have. But even adults can practice this magic if they try. Now, you might wonder, will I ever stop fighting with friends? Even when you grow up, even when you're an adult, disagreements still happen. But as you get older, you get better at talking about your feelings. You get better at saying, I made a mistake. Or, I forgive you. Or, let's try again. These are important skills, and you are already practicing them right now. Maybe you want to ask, how do I know if a friend is a good friend, especially after a fight? That's another good question. A good friend will care about your feelings. A good friend will listen, even if they don't agree. A good friend will try to make things right after a fight. You don't have to agree every time. But both of you should try to be kind and fair. It's also okay to have more than one friend. If you are fighting with one friend, you can spend time with another. You can make new friends at the playground or in class or in your neighborhood. There are so many people you haven't met yet who could become good friends. Let's imagine the world if everyone stopped being friends after one fight. It would be a very lonely world. But when people try to work things out, even after fighting, the world becomes a friendlier place. So, what ideas can you remember when you fight with a friend? First, it's okay to feel upset. You can take a break to calm down. Second, you can try to see things from your friend's side, even though it's hard. Third, you can talk about your feelings, or apologize, or offer to play again. Fourth, you can forgive, if you choose, but you don't have to rush. Fifth, you can ask for help if you're stuck. And sixth, you can let go if the friendship is not good for you, but you can also try to make new friends. Here's a fun thing you can try. Next time you fight with a friend, remember to be gentle with yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone feels upset sometimes. You can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I be a better friend next time? This is how you grow. Now, let's talk about using our imagination. Imagine you and your friend are astronauts on a spaceship. You both want to push the big red button. You argue over who should do it. But if you fight too long, the spaceship might spin out of control. So, you have to find a way to work together. Sometimes, this means taking turns. Sometimes, this means talking it out. Sometimes, this means flipping a coin, or playing rock paper scissors. The important thing is that you don't let the fight ruin your mission. Friendship is a little bit like a spaceship. It needs work and teamwork to keep flying. Sometimes, storms come. Sometimes, it gets bumpy. But with enough care, your friendship spaceship can make it through the storms and fly to amazing places. Maybe after your next fight, you can imagine you and your friend fixing your friendship spaceship together. It might take a little time. But if you keep trying, soon you'll be exploring new planets of fun together again. Here's a question you can think about by yourself. Can you remember a time when you fought with a friend and made up? What did you do? How did you both feel afterward? Was anything different? Or maybe, is there a friend you'd like to make up with now? You can be the brave one who tries. And if you're still feeling unsure, remember, it's okay. Some fights take longer to fix. Sometimes, it's scary to take the first step. But every time you try, you become a little stronger, a little kinder, and a little wiser. To all the grown-ups watching this video, maybe you can remember a time from when you were little, and you fought with a friend. Share your story with your child. Talk about what worked, and what didn't. Show them that making a mistake doesn't mean the end of friendship, and saying sorry is a sign of strength, not weakness. To the kids, remember, you are learning every day, not just how to read or add or draw, but how to be a friend. That is one of the most important lessons in life, and one of the most wonderful. So, what do you do when you fight with friends? There isn't just one right answer. But with a little patience, some kindness, and maybe a bit of bravery, you can find your own way through. Sometimes, you might have to try more than one way. But you're not alone. All over the world, kids and grown-ups are learning and growing, too. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember to take care of your friendships, and to take care of yourself. See you next time.